Hi, thanks for stopping by my channel. Just want to take a few minutes to talk about the Kenya confessional video. She finally uploaded it. Let's talk about it. Yes, so after about 4 days, Kenya was able to manage to upload this video of her confessional. Okay, we know she gave us our teaser, and we were all waiting for the teaser. I mean, I remember I had put the notification thing alert on, and when it came, I said, "Oh, here it goes, here it goes." I was like, all excited and pressed it, and she gave us this 1 minute, 50-second video. And I was like, what in the world is that? What is, I said, they're going to drag her. They're going to drag Kenya. And they did. So she came back and said, okay, it's going to be up tomorrow. Hopefully, if my team can get it up. Okay, so who you got doing this? I feel like it was Jamie, because that's who it sounded like. That is exactly who it sounded like when they were asking the questions. I feel like Jamie helped her with this, but I could be wrong. But it sounded like Jamie's voice. And Jamie knows YouTube. She did speak on it for Candy. And let me tell you what I think. I feel like Candy is behind helping Kenya get her stuff together. Candy has, ever since this whole ordeal, with her getting let go from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Candy has gone up for Kenya. They're good friends or whatever. And she has lent her team to Kenya. You have Don Juan coming to the YouTube streets talking about Kenya and why she did it and why she would have done something like that. Kind of making excuses like that's what you do in TV land. So Candy's team, Candy has put her team behind Kenya, even though Kenya doesn't really have a team. She talked about it in her video that she needs a team. And I think she realizes that Candy's team goes up for her. That's why she's so successful. And she needs a team just like Candy. She mentions that in her confessional. Anyway, it'll be another point where I can tell you where Candy is also involved, or her team is involved. Anywho, let's get started.
So I want to start off by referencing something that means so much to me, especially right now. It is a quote from Kendrick Lamar. Wait, what's the quote? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, I'm being serious. Okay. They try to rig the game, but they cannot fake influence. They, who they is, tried it, girl, tried to rig the game, meaning, hey, we're going to try to make you think this over here. You cannot fake influence. And I am influential. Hey everyone, it's your girl Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore hair care. Kenya Moore hair spa. Kenya Moore YouTube. Anyway, this is my first ever YouTube content that I'm putting out myself, and I'm so proud of myself because I am taking back the narrative instead of everyone speaking on me and, quite frankly, everyone making money off of me. That part. Even sitting down in the interview chair, I haven't done that like for a year. So guess what? I'm doing it for you. Thank you for joining me. And be sure to subscribe because you do not want to miss any of this hot, smoking, piping hot tea. Let's get into it. Let's get into the receipts, okay? More receipts. I have more receipts for you, and I want to just talk about some things that I have been seeing out in the atmosphere that are completely laughable, most of it, but also in a lot of ways just really dumb. Yeah, I said it. Done. Portia, in her recent YouTube, alluded to another housewife sending me the photos of the now infamous photos that were shown during my spa opening.
I know for a fact that one of these housewives who is still on the show is the one who gave Kenya a big part of that nude information.
So number one, that's a lie.
Why would Portia need to lie about that though? What would she gain about lying about one of the housewives on the show, giving her giving her what she needed to out Britt Edie? Is she trying to protect that housewife? That's the only thing I can think of, because either Portia is not friends with that said housewife and Kenya's trying to protect them, or Portia's lying. And we know Portia lies, but it doesn't make sense why Portia would come down to your YouTube and lie about something like that. She has nothing to do with any of this stuff that's going on. Well, why would she need to make up something? Continue.
That's a lie. The photos were online on various porn sites, many porn sites. I don't
And they could have been online. That doesn't mean that the housewife didn't tell you where they were or send them to you or look them up with you, or that doesn't necessarily mean that. Semantics.
watch porn. I'm not a porn expert. I don't enjoy it. I don't participate. I don't get anything from it. Okay. I would like to just rather see my own body in action, maybe in a mirror or something like that. But I'm not going to sit there and watch porn. The investigators and everyone involved, not including Drew Sidora, found those images and they're still there. That brings me to Ming Lee. Someone said that Ming Lee was somehow involved because they know each other, and Ming said out of
What do you mean, not including Drew Sidora? Why did that even have to come into play? Like, you didn't mention any but other housewife, but you're going to mention Drew Sidora? Drew Sidora must be also going up for Kenya too. That's the only thing I can think of. She must be on part of her team trying to get her, just having her back. Because why would you just out just that one housewife? Makes no sense.
her own mouth that she has a lot of evidence of Britt Edie's past performances, gigs. Let me say this for the people in the back. We did not get any photos from any person. They came directly from a search online. The photos that were revealed are not considered revenge porn. I went so far as, oh my God, did I do something wrong? I don't know this lady. I don't know any of her ex-boyfriends. I don't know any of her ex-friends. I've never seen this lady before in my life. I want to make sure I didn't break any laws. So I engaged a local attorney who advised me about the federal law as well as the Georgia state law. I shared photos that were readily available online. I did not commit revenge porn. I shared a publicly available photo that was accessible online.
Now, this is where she should have called the lawyer before she did it. I'm assuming she called the lawyer after she did what she was supposed to put this stuff out there. Sounds like after she did it to protect herself or to find out if she had committed any crimes, she called the lawyer after the fact. Because I feel like if she called the lawyer beforehand, he would have been like, I don't advise you do that at all. That's not something that you can say, well, this is what happened. I'm on this TV show. I got these photos, the kind of risque, salacious, offline, and I put them on. But the thing of it is, they weren't shared. They were edited out. So they weren't broadcasted. So that was one thing. They weren't broadcasted across TV because, of course, Bravo and UMBC, what is it? NBC, not UMBC. I'm thinking about a college. Sorry. NBC Universal did not want to take that hit, right? So, of course, they blurred everything out and bleeped her and all that kind of stuff. But there were other people outside of the cast and production that were part of her grand opening. So I'm assuming because they were there and she shared the photos, they were saying that that was Revenge P. But she's saying it's not, according to this lawyer. And she said he recited federal law as well as Georgia state law, and she made sure she didn't do it. But my whole thing is, why didn't you seek a lawyer beforehand? Because maybe he would have told you, this might not be a good idea for you to do. Just saying.
If I showed Kim Kardashian's sex tape right now, is that revenge porn? It's not. And then while we're talking about that, I've already said it was wrong. I should not have done it at my salon, this beautiful salon that I've worked so hard for, that I spent a lot of money on, that money that could have been spent in other areas, including supporting my child. So yes, I am very sorry that I shared the photos because it wasn't right, but I did not break the law, and I'm very sorry for what I did.
So is she sorry because she did that because it hindered her business? Or she's sorry because she did it to Britt Eady? I feel like she's sorry the fact that it kind of, the blowback from what she did has done something to her reputation. I don't think she's so sorry about how she made Britt Eady feel. Let's get that out there. Don't believe she's apologizing for that. She's sorry that she did it because the blowback came back more on her than it did on Britt Eady. My opinion.
Comfort of my own home, I was joking around with my bestie, which I always do, my very best friend, Brandon DeShazer. We were having a dispute on the show with Phaedra, and I was in my closet and I brought out one of my firearms, and I'm like, oh, do I have to use this on Phaedra tonight? Giggling, ha, 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 he. Phaedra was not around, nowhere to be present. Phaedra never saw it. I never said it in any threatening way. I was not upset. You cannot compare apples to oranges. If you want to do that, does Phaedra sitting on the reunion couch with her taser ready for me count? Okay, moving on.
Tell us about your first interaction with Britt and why you feel like she misinterpreted your energy.
Oh, I don't think she misinterpreted anything. It was all very calculated. So the first interaction I had with all of the ladies was actually really pleasant. I was excited to meet them. It was season 16. I'm like, oh my God, this is season 16. I'm the only one standing that's a real OG, 12, 13 years in.
I do think Britt Eady misinterpreted Kenya's energy. That's my personal opinion. I still, and I'm standing on it, remember when Kenya first came over at Shamia's party and was like saying hello to the girls. She said she didn't know anybody. I believe that. She said everybody was there except for Angela, because I think Angela was in the bathroom fixing her wig. And she said she was real impressed with Kelly. Kelly was like, hi, how you doing? I'm Kelly, blah, 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 blah. And when she saw Britt Eady, she says hi. But that's it. She doesn't give her anything more than that. And then turns around and says, where's Shamia? And this is exactly how it happened. She goes, and because Britt was kind of excited, she was like, hi. And she was like, hi. Where's Shamia? Where's the birthday girl? And she kind of like cut her off. When she did that, Britt kind of like backed up like, oh, gave that type of response. I don't think, and I'm going to disagree with Kenya here, I don't think she misread her energy. I really believe that it was something else going on there. I believe that because Kenya is friends with Ming Lee, is it Ming Lee? Whatever, the other girl that was trying to get on the Housewives. And she was looking more so for her to be on there. She didn't, I don't know if and the fact that there's some type of rift between Ming Lee and Britt Eady, I believe all that played a part. I don't believe that Britt misread her energy. I believe Britt read it fine. I think Britt wanted to be her friend, but when she wasn't getting that, her thing was, okay. Then that's when the whole thing was, she was poking at Kenya. At that point, she was poking at Kenya. And she was upset at the fact that Kenya did not want to be cordial with her. I'm not saying her friend. I don't know if she was looking for a friend, actually, but just to being cordial because I feel like she thinks she was okay with all the rest of the girls. She wanted to try to win Kenya over, but she just didn't know how to do it. My personal opinion. I don't know, but I don't know if I agree with Kenya on this part. Let's continue.
And I felt like I could be mother to everyone. I'm a mother, okay? Show these girls I've been through the fire. I know what it's like to be a newbie. I know what it's like to be here. I know everything that could possibly happen has happened to me on this show. And I felt like I could speak, as someone that could be supportive, could read a girl if she's wrong. And my first interaction with all of the newbies, I was like, oh, you girls are so pretty. Pelly was there, Brittany was there, everyone was there except for Angela at the moment, and also Drew. And I just remember coming in just being very pleasant to everyone, and there was an issue about a ring that someone made. I feel as though that was clearly a made-up issue. If someone has an engagement ring on and not a wedding band, not the other way around, because if you just have on one ring and it's just a circular ring, that's usually a wedding band. Now, you can choose to wear whatever you want to wear on your hand. No one's saying that. I was confused at what she was saying about it being a new ring or a different ring, or her second ring is actually what she said. I'm like, oh, you've been married before? I don't know this girl. I never seen her before in my life. So again, you're wearing an engagement ring. I'm assuming that either you're engaged or I don't think you could be anything else. I think my fans know and I'm being shady. I think they call me the shade assassin for a reason. That wasn't shady.
Now, I agree with her on this. That wasn't really shade. I understand Kenya's explanation. She wanted to know, was she engaged or was she married? And Britt took it, but she was already offended that she kind of dismissed it with the hi. So maybe she misread her energy in this particular instance because she was like, are you married? No, I'm married. Like she had something to prove. And maybe at this juncture, she might have misread the energy, but I don't consider what Kenya asked shade. Are you married or are you not? Because when you just have the ring, excuse me, when you just have the ring, usually that's just your engagement ring. If there's one band, one circular band, that could be used as a wedding band, even if there's one. But usually if both are together with the ring, and you kind of say, oh, okay, yeah, she's married. But again, like Kenya said, there's no rule that you can't just wear the one ring. You wear whatever you want on your finger. You don't have to wear anything, actually. Because a lot of people don't wear anything. People get tattoos on that finger. So it is what it is. But I think that energy might have been misread. Only because she was already on the defensive because she felt like Kenya was being dismissive. So I'll say that.
We know what my shady looks like. Let's move on. It wasn't shady. So after I saw her and, we had the whole moment again about the hug was a very awkward. I don't like to hug. If you see me out in public, I will probably never hug you because I do believe people transfer energy to you and you have to really kind of know someone and know where they're coming from to hug them. So I don't really hug people that I don't know. That's not a crime. That is a boundary that I have for myself, and people need to respect that. It's not personal. Then we get to the next time I see her, the Balmain event. I'm like, oh, you look so beautiful, like a Balmain Barbie. You look amazing. Hi, Balmain Barbie. How are you? Yes. Hi. I hugged her then, hugged her when I saw her another time, hugged her at the dinner. That was a pat. That was
Britt is just needy. And her goal was to try to win over Kenya. I really, really don't think she meant it to go the way that it went. Because she sounds like she was just trying too hard. You know what I mean? Like she wanted to get in Kenya's good graces. Whatever she felt like might have been going on behind the scenes with Kenya and the girl Ming Lee or whatever her preconceived, because your imagination can run wild with you. So she always had to hug her. I don't know what that's about. Everywhere she went, she had to hug her. That's needy to me. Sorry.
That wasn't a hug.
That's a hug without getting makeup on me. And she was complaining every step of the way. And I'm like, this girl has very bad energy, but I paid the dust and I just went on to have a good time because I was actually having a really good time at the dinner before it went left. So the whole thing about being targeted, her being targeted by me, people asking her if I did something to her. She can't answer why, because it didn't happen. You want to know what I really think happened? I think that when she was interviewing for Real Housewives of Atlanta, she wanted the villain role. She wanted to come after me because she felt like, okay, well, Portia wasn't there at the time. I was, right? And I believe that she made them promises that she was going to come after me. She was going to be this girl that could read, this girl that was doing all this, you know. And when she met me, Portia flushed this out. She was surprised and thrown off that I was so nice, because I am nice. I don't really bother people unless they bother me. We know I retaliate. We know that's.
I don't know if I believe this either. I don't know if that was her goal, is to be the villain of the story. It doesn't sound like she's too needy and too wanting to be accepted to become a villain. So I'm not gonna go with this one, Kenya. And about you being a nice girl, I'm not going with that either. I'm not Team Twirl. Everybody knows I'm not Team Twirl, but I don't, excuse me, I'm not, I don't dislike Kenya. I just think she's a mean girl and she plays her role well. And she already said she didn't want to be the villain this time going in. She didn't like that role. And I don't have Britt Eady wanting to be the villain. No, I don't agree with that. She's too needy and wants to be accepted. So villains don't want to be accepted. They don't care if they're accepted. My opinion.
That's what I do. I'm not saying it's always right, but I'm not going to let anybody run over me. And I have no reason to not like someone that I don't know. And I was always nice to the girls. The point is, I think she overpromised what she would do on the show. The first 3 weeks of filming, she was exceptionally boring. There was nothing outstanding about her. She didn't come in. She wasn't dressed in designer clothes from head to toe. Her husband wasn't particularly interesting. Like, no, not trying to throw shade.
That shade. Now she's saying her husband wasn't particularly interesting. Yeah. Now that was shade. But where's the lie? Where's the lie? The only thing I'm interested in about her husband is, what does he do for a living? That hasn't been established. Just saying.
And the husband, sorry about that. But there was just nothing in the group scenes that I saw her in that made me think, oh, that's a star baby. I was actually more captivated by Kelly and Angela. And of course, I knew Shamia already. I knew her personality. But she was failing. Like, she was dull. Okay? So I think when she kept trying to come after me, and I just was like, okay, girl, I see you. You're trying to have a moment. You're falling flat. This is your 3 weeks in. Producers are probably asking you, girl, when are you going to show up? And you thought, okay, I'm going to show up tonight. And I think was her downfall from there. This is the biggest question that I have for the people that come on reality TV that have a shady past that you're not proud of. Okay, we've all done things in our past we're not proud of. Nobody was perfect. To the Simons, to the Chrisleys. It went from someone saying you're 17, age of consent, to, oh, wait, that's not going to track. Okay, let me just say I was underage. No. So that's what I just don't understand. Like, I'm not even going to open that can of worms, because my whole question and line of questioning would be completely different from everybody else's. I would want to know, if you're going to make a statement, you need to prove, because we already know you're capable of lying, right?
Okay, so let's read this statement. It says, it's never a good feeling being targeted or hazed by someone I thought would embrace me into a new circle that I've never met. For the record, I've never once had possession of any weapons or threatened anyone ever. I've never been to jail and fight, or even had as much as a speeding ticket. That's not my character. I am hurt by the narrative that's being displayed. Wrong is wrong. Okay, well, we found that was not the case in her coming from her own words. So let's continue. Sorry, that's not even on the screen, but oh well. Sorry, y'all.
Excuse me 1 second. Okay, wow. Another Google alert. Okay, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I don't understand why any person would come on reality TV when they have done things in the past or are currently doing things that they don't want to be found out. Why? And then to give someone a reason to expose you. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson. Am I the only sane motherfucker here? like, really? Am I the only sane person in the room? Why? Because they're so egotistical, they don't think they'll be found out. Like, okay, wow. You paid to scrub the internet out of your own words. Okay. Well, they left some dust in the corner. And over there in behind her too. A lot of people say that I had never taken accountability for anything, and that's simply not true. And I went on Tamron Hall, I was promoting my daughter's book. The issue came up, and I said, I take full accountability. I am not playing a victim. I'm telling my own truth.
I ultimately chose to go on Tamron Hall because I really needed to publicly take accountability for my actions. I mean, sharing that photo at my own.
I feel like she took accountability at that point because, as she says, she went on there to promote her daughter's book. The backlash had already come about. So she had to take accountability and act like she was remorseful because she was into promoting something else that she was trying to get off the ground. That's strategy. That's, you got to appeal to an audience saying, okay, she's remorseful. She didn't mean it. What happened went totally left. Wasn't my intent. And I'm sorry or whatever. She's sorry because of the backlash that she's endured has affected her business of her salon as well as her daughter's book. She's not sorry about what she did to Britt Eady. She's not. She's not. I don't believe she is. My personal opinion. But at the same token, I still think Britt Eady had it coming to her. Maybe not as much as what Kenya did. She didn't have to go that far. She didn't have to take it to hell like she normally does everything else. But she deserved something because Britt was being quite annoying. Anyway, let's move on.
Own salon opening was a serious lapse in judgment. Everybody can possibly now understand that it was definitely not the smartest thing to do. And I deeply regret that I hurt anyone that was involved, including the cast, including Brittany, including the crew, including any of the guests that were there to come to celebrate me. I mean, this platform gave me a chance to sincerely apologize and not to excuse.
So she did apologize to Brittany. I didn't realize that she had apologized on here. So why does Brittany need a personal phone call from Kenya? I mean, I guess it would have been nice to have a personal phone call, but she's apologized for the masses. She did it for the world. This is online. This is for everyone to know. She apologized. She don't need to call you. She said it would have been nice to get a phone call. Everybody else get a apology, but I didn't get one. She did get one. She did. Okay, Kenya, you good.
Excuse what I did, but to own it fully.
Sometimes the things that you do can come back and they can hurt you. And as I've said here before, I definitely did not, I escalated the situation. I didn't need to. Kim Fields, okay? People are so mad. That was 6-7 years ago, and rightfully so. I issued a public apology to Kim when I was on Watch What Happens Live. They asked me, is there anything that I regret? And I was like, absolutely. I think you learn from regret. But for me, I definitely regretted pulling her chair. That was not right. She's a class act, and we are over it. Like, she invited me to come on her show to film with her just last year, The Upshaws. So wrong. I do take accountability. Another time I've taken accountability is, and these are just from what I can remember off the top of my head, was with Phaedra. I did some things with Phaedra that crossed the line. She did absolutely things that crossed the line with me. But I apologize for my part and what I did to contribute to the downfall of our friendship. And
sometimes hindsight is 20/20. I mean, when you're in the moment, you might not think what you're doing is crass or disrespectful, but sometimes it takes other people either bring it to your attention or just the feeling. And at the time when you're thinking about it, it may sound good in your head, but as it plays out, it was like, I didn't anticipate this outcome. And that's what everything that Kenya's done. So she's apologized to Phaedra. I didn't know she apologized to Phaedra either, but neither here nor there. She's saying she's taking accountability. What she's not going to mention is the Tanya incident, which I felt like she owed Tanya an apology, because all Tanya did come back and say was that she wore wigs, that she wears fake hair. She wearing fake hair now. She told her that her braid isn't hers. Okay, she wears it. Nobody cares whether you wear it or not. She made it seem like Tanya was going after her business and like she was trying to, do something, because I guess maybe Kenya didn't want anybody to know she wore hairpiece. Everybody knows she added hair to her hair. In her confessional, her hair was always thicker. We always know that she has a hair full of hair, but she would always add length to it or make it a little thicker for whatever style she was trying to achieve. All of them do it. All of them have hair. All of them are not bald headed. Hello, we get it, but I feel like she owes Tanya an apology, because she went and brought some lady, supposedly that her man was trying to holler at, called the Cookie Lady, remember? And the Cookie Lady felt like she had some dialogue, like she was going at Tanya. Why are you going at Tanya? You ain't got nothing to do with whatever happened or what transpired between Tanya's man and the Cookie Lady. Why is she coming after Tanya? That made no sense. Plus, Kenya called Tanya a cunt. She called her that. Like, what? She didn't, to my knowledge, that was like the worst. You might as well spit in Tanya's face, as far as I'm concerned. It's horrible.
And that was on the show. So I'm not sure why people didn't acknowledge that was taking accountability, but I absolutely did in that moment too. I'm not playing the victim. I am in a situation partly because of my choices. Back to the original point, I have taken accountability. So you guys just choose not to see it. It's okay, but I'm just going to remind you. So now it's time for a commercial break. And since people want to talk about snatching edges, because you can get real close. These are my edges. You can even see the little gray hairs. Okay, this is not a lace front. This is my hair. Well, not this, but this is my hair and these are my edges. I developed Kenya Moore Hair Care similarly to why I developed a product line as well as a spa. I love making women look and feel good. Like, I love when women come into the salon or use my products and leave reviews and say, my hair has transformed. I have had so many customers and positive reviews before any housewives drama had anything to do with it. My customers say, more edges work. So try More Edges today. You can find them online, or you can come into the shop, or you can go to CVS or Sally. So they all have different products, but we're also going to be back on Amazon, so check it out there too. Kenya Moore Hair Care. We're going to get into even more receipts, okay? I'm going to be answering questions that you guys have submitted.
So is her line going back into CVS and Sally's? Because it sounds like, I thought that was it. Like, they weren't putting that stuff back on the shelf. Like, her contract was over with them, or they terminated the contract with her because based on this. Maybe she's gone back and negotiated her contract with these franchises. And if that's true, then great. I'm happy for her, because she needs it. And then she can have it online. She could have her own website, actually, and put her own products on there. She really could do that as well. And she can come down to the YouTube streets, put on a commercial, go on, Tasha K, have Tasha K, promote her stuff. I don't know. It's different things she could do to market her stuff. And, I'm wishing for Kenya to win. I really do. I don't want anybody out and about. Now, granted, she says she knows she's in this situation because of her choices. 100% agree with that. But I don't like to see anybody out. You live and you learn from your mistakes. And hopefully she's learned that going to hell is not always the right way to go. Wrong road. Shout out to Portia. Wrong road.
And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Because if you don't, you won't get any notifications when I drop something new or when the juicy gossip hits the net first. You hear it from me first, right here.
People are saying, why didn't you go to the producers if you were so afraid?
The answer is I did. I did go to producers. Number one, when we were there, Portia and I stayed back while everyone was leaving, and Britt Edie was irate. She was yelling and screaming, and it was then that I heard her say the following words. That's why I keep a for like you. Let me repeat that. You didn't hear it. I heard it. It didn't make the edit. That's why I keep a for like you. Yelling and screaming.
If that's what was said and production edited it out and they did a thorough investigation, why is Britt Edie still on the show? Because if they felt like it was reason enough to remove Kenya for just displaying pictures that are already on the internet, that is a threat. Now, what we heard, we felt like was threat enough because she was implying or insinuating that that's what she had, and she was mad with Kenya. So even though she didn't say that for what we could hear, we automatically felt like, yes, that was enough right there. But if she actually said, this is why I keep pistols for women like you, she's actually targeting Kenya. And if Kenya went to HR, said this, and they didn't do an investigation until 3 weeks later, they shouldn't even have to have done that. If it was caught on camera, then maybe they didn't get it. It's a possibility they didn't get it. However, if it was said, that audio picked it up because she was still mic'd. Because remember, her husband was trying to get the mic off of her when they were outside. Unless it was said after the mic was taken off. I don't know, wasn't there. But if that is indeed what happened, production did Kenya dirty. They did her dirty, and she don't have a lot of friends. And she said they were trying to treat her like a black Karen, as she was being, being over the top about the whole thing. So I feel if that's indeed happened, then Kenya, should she seek legal action against the network? Maybe she wants to see if they'll bring her back. I hope they bring her back for the reunion, but I don't know. Yeah, let's continue. That's awful if they did that to her. I think production has a lot to do with how things ended up. Somebody in production don't like Kenya too much.
As she's going out, I heard things knocking around. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I immediately went to the showrunner, the executive producer, and I said, what is going on? Why is she talking about what is happening? Like, Portia can tell you that. She saw the reaction on my face. She saw that I was visibly shaken, and I was like just trying to figure things out. So I did go to the producer. Not only.
So if she did say that exactly, Portia's playing a long game. Portia, if Portia heard it, then I feel like Portia may have said it in her video. However, Portia is team NBC. She needs a check. So she's not going to say anything that's going to put her in jeopardy of her check. Because she needs it. Because, she ain't got no storyline. Her storyline has been derailed. So I believe Kenya. And I believe that Portia would not say what she heard because it protects NBC. Now, Portia came out, as we already know, saying that one of the other ladies on the cast, one of the housewives that are still there, gave Kenya these pictures. So who else is NBC after? Because Portia is corporate. Yeah. I believe Kenya.
Not only did I go to the producer then, I also went to the production company that night, explained what happened, and said, I don't know what's going on. We're 3 weeks into filming, and this girl we don't know is threatening to unalive me. I've been on the show for 12 seasons. I have never once had anyone threaten me with I have not ever had anyone allude to unaliving me. So I took it seriously because it's one thing if, listen, it would never be right. But if a Portia or, even a Drew or somebody that we know that has something to lose, did you hear me say that? If it was someone that we already knew, that we have been filming with for years, and we know that they have something to lose, maybe I would have taken it differently. But when someone you don't know, who basically, in my words, like you just, you found off the street, is doing all of that, you guys weren't there. You do not know how intense it got. It got so intense. So I did make my complaint. Well, I went to the police before, and honestly, I'm the only cast member there that's ever been physically attacked. Whether you say I deserved it, whether you say I did this or did that, it's obviously a polarizing conversation, and it was back then. But I was, and still am, the only one on the show that was physically attacked. So when someone is new to me coming around and saying that they are going to unalive me and use a on me, and then what you heard 2 or 3 more times saying they had whips and MF, that wasn't about the neighborhood. When you try to change the narrative to make it benefit you because of your inaction, that's rigging the game. You're rigging the game. You clearly rigged the game against me. Listen, I'm going to leave it right there. I did what I was supposed to do. And I take a lot of umbrage to someone now saying that they didn't have a gun. And so somehow that's supposed to absolve them from everything that happened after. And we're going to show this clip where she said prior to Housewives that she keeps a gun at all times. Roll it.
Keep my pistol with me always.
Security that's at the gas station?
I only go to gas stations that have security there. I only go to the same gas stations if I'm in the city.
Yeah.
On her Instagram, she said that wasn't her character. She did not threaten anyone with she did not have a she never said anything about so we know that that was a complete lie. So we already know you're a liar. We already know she's capable of lying and trying to rig the game. Let's go back to this whole Watch What Happens Live interview where Andy asked her, did she have a gun? And she said, oh, no, I didn't have a gun. Well, I have proof otherwise. Nobody checked bags when we're filming. Nobody checked cars when we're filming. You show up, you go inside, and you start to film. But weeks later, you want to say, oh, we had an investigation.
So I wonder what Kenya's proof is. I mean, did someone from production that likes her say she really had one? Really had a pow pow? I mean, what would be her proof? How would you know? Somebody had to tell her something. So I would like to know what that proof is. We need the receipt on how you knew she had something on her.
And found that you weren't in violation of the gun policy. Really, bitch? I did what I did. I complained to HR. I did all these other things. Now you want to do an investigation? 3 weeks have gone by? Because someone said it? Well, we already know that person is a liar, right? Because we have proof, solid proof, from her on Instagram, and she lied about talking about the gun that night. So we already know you're a liar. And now we're investigating something 3 weeks after the fact because of what someone said that wants to keep their job? Oh, okay, that's okay. Hey, did you have a gun that night? No. Okay, investigation closed. Can you go to the airport and say you have a and not get arrested? Can you go to the bank and say you have a and not get arrested? Can you go any place that it will put people in danger and say you have a and not be committing a crime? That's not a crime? That's not against policy? I'm just asking the question. Can you go to your job tomorrow and say, you, Joe, you gonna learn today? You don't know who the I am, Joe. You, Joe. You gonna have some respect around here. I got whips, that's why I keep a for like you, Joe.
I'm going straight to HR.
Britt said that. I believe that. Kenya ain't lying. She said that. Kenya knows it too well, verbatim, because it happened to her. Britt said that, and production is dirty for not doing anything to Britt. Now, I'm not saying that both of them should have been removed from the show, but both of them should have been suspended from a couple episodes or whatever. Maybe one, maybe longer than the other. But something should have happened to Britt. Some type of repercussions, some punishment for her part in all of this, because production could see that Britt she was on one the whole time before this even escalated. So I don't agree with how Kenya chose to escalate it because I think she would have made out better if she had just said, I'm not filming with her anymore. That would have taken the thunder away from Britt. I'm not filming her anymore. Anywhere that she's at, I don't want to be in. So the girl's got to make a choice. Martell and Melody worked it out. You gonna invite Martell? I'm not coming. If I'm coming, Martell can't be there. Or I come beforehand and they come after. You know what I'm saying? I'm not filming with her. That's how she should have carried it from that point on. My opinion.
You going straight? You going to HR and the police? If that happened on Beverly Hills, you think she would be in jail or punished or out of a job? You think if she had said that to Kyle or Teresa Giudice or any other housewife on any other show, do you think she would still have a job? I'm just asking the question. Things been handled differently, I would have never felt a need to protect myself or escalate the situation. People go, oh, well, how is that protecting yourself? Because where I'm not even mention where I'm from. Where I'm from, and you may end up having to delete this, but I'm going to say it. You tell me if it's too hard. So that's why the decision was made, for me to escalate it in the way that I did. Because if you keep messing with me, I got more and more with you, so leave me alone. And that person likely will leave you alone. And they certainly wouldn't be going around playing victim. They would just go on about their business and find another target. That's that. You want the truth? That's the truth.
Do you not feel that your retaliation allowed the new girl to trick you out of your spot?
Ooh, I don't think there's any such thing. I already had a spot. How can somebody trick? It wasn't a spot up for grabs. Like, nobody snatched a peach. Everybody had a peach. So nobody tricked me out of my spot. So that does make sense.
Do you feel like Cynthia threw you under the bus and it's Team Britt?
I don't know why she's mad with Cynthia. That makes no sense to me. Cynthia was being a friend. She told her she was bigger than that situation, and she probably expected more from her. I don't know why she's upset with Cynthia. That makes no sense to me, why she's upset with her. That's crazy.
How much I make a season? Well, I mean, I don't talk about money. When it comes to like my own money, I see a lot of these crazy reports saying like my net worth is $800,000. My house is worth $3 million. Like, how is my net worth $800,000? Like, I own that much in cars. Like, just stop. Like, I think it's tacky to talk about money, so I'll just leave it at that. But I think it's decent to say that I make more than the girls that are on the show now. Oh, thank you. Saved by the bell. Saved by the bell.
Will you attend the reunion?
Will I attend the reunion? I haven't been invited to the reunion. In fact, I was invited and then disinvited a few months ago. The disrespect is insane. You know, from me being someone who has always loved Real Housewives of Atlanta and always wanted to see them win, to being shut out, not given an opportunity to apologize the same way that they gave that grace to someone else on the show. I think it's really odd, right? To be erased from history of the show, to not be in the opening credits, to not have confessionals. When Kim Zolciak left the show, she got a whole new show. She was in the confessional. She was a peach holder. You got girls taking glasses and knocking each other upside the head with real glasses on Jersey. You've had people talking about porn on Jersey. You've had people exposing, a real life revenge porn case on Vanderpump Rules. They're working. They haven't been made to look like a scumbag or a villain. Really? That's how I'm treated?
What's up with this ring on Kenya's finger? I mean, it's pretty big. Is that her homage to Britt? I don't know. It's huge. She back with Mark? Is there another suitor? Tell us, Kenya. Nobody asked that question. I think I might ask that in her comments. What's up with the ring?
That's pretty bad, I would say. So I don't anticipate an invitation. Yeah, I don't see that.
Why do we promote the salon more?
You know, I've always been struggling with building a team. That's why I always admired Andy so much, because she has this awesome team.
she has an amazing team and she totally gets it, but you need help. And so when I'm just building out the salon and I'm out of all this money, 400,000, I'm fighting with the landlord about giving me my little $80,000 back and my TI. Obviously I built a whole new, top floor, put all this money into it. And then thinking about, okay, now I'm going to put even more money in hiring a team and doing this and doing that. It just felt like I can handle it. Let's just, I'm not going to throw good money after bad. We're just going to let a year go by and see how it goes. I've been open for over a year and a half, about a year and a half, I think. At least a solid year. And what I have loved the most about this salon is the women, the customers that come in and are so happy with the results. The smiles, the repeat customers, like we have 85% repeat customers. And then when the Housewives show airs and the whole scandal airs, I have all these strangers from all over the country leaving bad reviews. We go from 4.9 Google reviews rating to 4.4. And every day there's somebody saying something crazy to try to hurt my business. If you
Is it open? I was under the impression that it was not open, even in the days she's supposed to be open. I think she's only supposed to be open 3 days a week. Okay. Kenya Moore hair. She's at 4.4. She's at a 4.4. Let's look at the reviews. Amazing. I visited Kenya's hair spa twice and had great experience both times. The first time I treated myself to a head spa treatment and it was amazing. The different massages on my scalp was heaven. My silk press afterwards was great as well. My second visit, I just did the silk press. I had a great experience as well. I was surprised to meet Kenya and she was insisting that I had luxury experience. I will visit again. Then you have someone that evidently spent $200. Owner is so rude and condones horrible behavior. No professionalism. Is that what it's supposed to be? At all. And not much knowledge of her own products except to go here if you want to be talked down to and if you want her to talk behind your back. What? To employees and clients, gross. Wow. That's the only one I see that's not a good review. Let me see if there's another review on here. Okay, here's another one that spent $200. I went there and the stuff said that the salons is only for Black people's hair. Very disappointing. Okay, that must be a white person. Okay. Rude staff, didn't even get to sit in a chair due to the way we were treated. Kenya went back and said, "You've never been to our salon." She knows that because ain't nobody been there. It's not open, is it? Oh my God. She's got a lot of reviews on here. These are all her friends. She's got a lot of reviews on here. Somebody says the ghetto. I don't know what that means. Distasteful. I don't know. It's a lot of reviews on here. I don't know if they're bought reviews. People can do that too. But according to Michelle Brown, who's always investigating, and I don't take everything Michelle Brown says as gospel, but she actually went to the salon when it was supposed to be open and it wasn't. Milichant went to the salon when it's supposed to be open and it wasn't. Now, these were early on, okay? But I think that somebody else needs to go and kind of film, if they'll allow you to, when she's open so we can see the experience, okay? That's all I'm saying. We need to see firsthand.
You don't like me, you don't have to like me. If you don't like what I did, you don't have to like what I did. But why are you coming after my business? The same, it's a culture that it can be very beneficial to you because I have a lot of supporters and Team Twirl is awesome. But then when you have these bad seeds and people that don't think things through and just try to spew hate in your direction, that's what makes it really bad. That's not fair to the customers that really get great service when they come here. And it's up to them. If you don't want to come to the salon, stay at home. It's as simple as that. You don't have to come here. But why are you trying to ruin other people from coming here and having great experiences? I work so hard, sometimes I'll step in and do a head spa. If I don't have a stylist, Walter can tell you that. If I don't have a stylist for the day or someone calls out, I don't want to let anyone down. So I'll put, my shampoo gloves on, or I'll shampoo someone's hair, or I'll do a deep conditioning treatment because I want everyone to believe in the space and have an amazing time when they're here. And that was always my vision.
The girls want to know what you've got in the works.
Ew. I always keep things close to the vest until
you can tell Kandi is behind this. Now, I don't know if you just happen to see in that footage when Kenya was doing the shampoo or whatever. The stylist that was standing up doing someone's hair is Kandi's personal stylist. The one when she would her and Todd would have their YouTube channel and she'd be getting her makeup and hair done at the same time. The stylist is the lady that would always be doing her hair. Okay. So not to say that she doesn't work for Kenya and Kenya Salon. She could. Maybe she, but I don't know. I feel like Kandi is behind this whole thing. I think Kandi is behind this production, this video. I believe Jamie is helping Kenya with this video. It sounds like Jamie's voice. It sounds like the same lady that asked Kandi her questions. Just saying. Nothing wrong with it, but gives stage to me. My opinion.
when it's almost out. So I have got a lot of different projects that people will be able to see me and my daughter in. And I'm just really so happy about that. But again, you don't know anything until after, like, it's in the can. You know what I mean? Even if I've been shot in a movie, I don't talk about the movie until I know it's being released and I've seen it and I'm in it. So I want to thank you guys for listening to me today. Listen, we don't have time for everything. I'm not on RHOA right now, right? But my influence is still there. People are still obsessed. People are still using my taglines. People are still coming for me. And I'm not even there. So listen, I ain't still the moment. And I'm really happy that you guys are joining me today. So comment and subscribe. And listen, I'm going to twirl on out here. I'm still in my chair. And I'm still twirling, honey. I'm still here. I'm still here. And I'm still the moment. Please don't let me fall out of this chair. All right. See you next week.
Okay, so she said, see us next week. So is she going to do weekly confessionals? Is she going to talk about or speak on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? I mean, she could take that slot because Kandi's not doing it. Kandi's moved up and she's interviewing people like Sherry Shepherd. She's got different people coming to her show. Her speak on it has kind of evolved. She doesn't speak on the actual show. But maybe Kenya will take that slot and do what she needs to do and speak on it and give her take on what she knows when she was there and give her commentary on the show. That's fine. She can come talk about it. I'll listen to her. She could be real shady. So what do y'all think? Was that worth the wait? I mean, did she give us anything new? I don't think so. But I do honestly believe that production did her dirty. And that's not right. And production needs to fix it. And this should be Britt Edie's last season. She should not be asked to come back. So Britt better start a business and get it moving. Get her clientele together. Because I feel like they shouldn't ask for her back. And I know if Team Twirl has anything to do with it, they're going to say something about her being a part of this cast any further than this year. She should not be asked to come back, honestly. That's where I'm at with it anyway. So tell me what y'all think. Let's talk about it. Drop down in the comments. And I'll talk to you at the next one. And I just want to mention today is Easter, so everyone have a happy Easter. I have to get ready for my company. They should be here in a few hours. And again, everyone be blessed. Peace.